Well, hi everyone. Today it is so awesome to be interviewing this incredible couple from the East Coast as I'm here stationed in the West Coast. And so I just want you guys to introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are.
Cool. We're Andrew and Chantal Beresford.
Yes.
We're the pastors of ServeCity Church in the Greater Toronto area. Just turned 4 years old. And I'm just really excited about what God is doing.
And we have 3 kids, 12, 11, and a 5-year-old that was born on New Year's Eve. So she's our party baby. So we've been married, it'll be 15 years this year.
Yep.
So it's been an amazing journey to do life together on this amazing journey of church planting.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about that journey. How did you end up in ministry? How did you end up planting a church 4 years ago in Toronto, in the GTA?
Yeah, so we grew up here in the GTA area and left when we were 17, 18 years old, went over to the States, and went to school there, met up and got connected there in the States. So essentially 2 Canadians connecting there and starting our lives together there, started our family there, entered ministry there. And God always put in our heart when we got together and especially when we got married that after 7 years, that was kind of the prophetic word that was on our lives, that we would end up coming back home to Toronto and planting a church in the Greater Toronto area. And so literally, even, the crazy thing is that after time went by and ministry was going well and all of that sorts of stuff, it slipped our mind about the word that was given to us. And, it took my wife's best friend to actually, trigger that, the remembrance of that, word that God gave us. And when we looked up, we were like, whoa, it's 7 years.
Yeah.
And so we sold everything that we had.
Drove 43 hours from California with 2 kids, and I was 12 weeks pregnant to Toronto and started our lives back home. We never lived in our adult lives in Toronto. We've always lived in the US. So it was definitely people thought us planting a church in Toronto was going to be easy because we're from here, but we were gone for 14 years.
Absolutely.
So it wasn't, we started a church with nobody we knew, and we built it from there.
By God's grace, yeah.
What do you love the most about what you are doing? What do you love the most about this? Because I know church planting is hard, and this is not easy ground. This is not easy at all. Plus, now we have entered into a pandemic. Plus, it's a real diverse area. Like, there's so many things that are 14 years later. It's a very different looking city than when you left. What do you love the most about doing this?
I think it's learning people's story and able to journey with them. Like, something that we have adopted at our church is do not do life alone. And we really mean it. And it's been phenomenal to see people that never been to church before or didn't go to church for a long time, to see them grow in their faith, to make the decision to get baptized, to have the best part is to see people that, met at church, get married and have children. It's just been great to journey with them through the different seasons of life.
What does it look like for your family? What does this look like for you?
Yeah, for us, I mean, the way that we look at ministry, sometimes people feel like burdened by their children, or they're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this because of my children. It feels like children are limitations or a burden or a challenge. And for us, we don't feel that God just calls a man or a woman, but we feel like he calls households, to ministry and to be on mission. And so for us, we love that our children are engaged in this mission. Like our boys, when they were younger and we were getting ready to launch the church, our son Noah, like, we love that they go to public school because they're able to be in that environment where they're not around people. And again, not a knock against Christian education by any means, but being in an environment where they are able to stand out and everyone's not like them and they can actually be on mission. So when we were getting started, my son ended up, meeting someone, and was my middle son, Noah, and became a friend of his. We found out that, he was one of our neighbors, and it was amazing because he's inviting his friend to church for the launch. His dad ends up bringing him to church, for the launch and was coming after a while and ends up giving his life to the Lord, and I just think it's powerful. And then the dad goes on and invites people to church who end up getting baptized and stuff as well. And so it's powerful how our household, like our kids, have embraced, this mission that God has given us. And he's using them to not only reach young people, but also even, the older generation. And I think stuff like that is just powerful to see, multi-generational impact for the gospel's sake.
That's incredibly encouraging. We love to hear your thoughts and hope and prayer for the church in Canada, because you could have stayed outside of Canada, but God called you to this nation to plant a church and reach that community. So tell us, what is your hope and prayer for the church in Canada?
One thing we always say is, especially in Toronto, it's the most strategic place to reach the nations of the world. Absolutely. With so many diverse people here, multi-racial and ethnic, and we really believe that, God can use anybody from any walks of life for ministry. Yeah,
like for me, I am just absolutely in agreement with everything my wife is saying. And I would say, like, for me, when I left Toronto, I had lost my mind. I smoked what we now know as laced marijuana, and lost my mind. I was having severe panic attacks, hallucinations, for years. I couldn't even drive in a car for more than 15 minutes without my whole body starting to shake. And I had to get out and plant myself on the side of the road. It was just absolutely insane when I left here. And so for me personally, it was kind of a Saul to Paul type of a deal, where I was honored to have the opportunity to come back home in the place where I did things, where I lost my mind and I felt so hopeless, that I could come back and now bring hope to this place by the grace of God. And so I have real hope for this nation. There are other people just like me. And, and I believe that the gospel is needed, especially in this crazy time. And I love to see lives transformed just as Jesus transformed my life. And so that's my hope for the church.
I think I want to add to that. I also feel that it's an opportunity to dig wells in this hard ground. And I feel you cannot dig enough wells of hope, of living water for people that need the truth and need God's word.
So good. So good.
Amazing. God bless you. God bless ServeCity. We are excited to just celebrate what you are doing in this country. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having us. Really appreciate it.